do you think that this is the breakout year for silver, 2023?
I think you could make a very strong argument that it is on many levels. And, in particular, I think it's important to note that we look at the dollar being ridiculously strong in 2022, and as strong as it's been in a very long time. And when you look at silver, which finished the year in dollar terms up about 3.5%, 4%, in the face of a massively strong dollar, to put that into context, the last time the dollar was this strong, silver was less than $5 an ounce. And so it just goes to show how strong silver demand is. When you look at, for example, it's a little bit easier to, I think, to figure this out in terms of gold. When you look at what gold has done this year, it was unchanged in dollar terms. Silver, as I mentioned, was up 83 cents or 3.6%. But when you look at gold, I haven't figured it out with silver in other currencies. I suppose I ought to do that before I come on the Silver Slayer show. Shame on me. But in terms of gold, you look at gold in euros and in UK pounds. In the UK, gold was up 11.8%, setting all new all-time highs in the euro, up 5.8%. In other words, the dollar strength has kind of blurred the strength of gold and silver. The rest of the world is seeing these at or near all-time highs, especially in gold and silver, much better performing in other currency terms than in the dollar. But when you look at silver compared to stocks, bonds, real estate, and cryptocurrencies, it outperformed than all of them, even in dollar terms, and with a dollar that was inordinately strong. And I'll tell you something, man, if you take a look at the dollar index on one chart laid over the silver futures price, you will see that when the dollar is strong, silver is inverted. It underperforms.
Oh, yeah.
Dollar turns, silver outperforms. One other thing that I'd like to mention in terms of 23 outlook, that any time that we've seen silver touch 92 to 1 or thereabouts, there's been 4 times since the year 2000. Anytime that happens, bang, it goes straight down the other way. Sometimes it takes years, or sometimes it takes months, like it did in 2010 and 11. In 2010, I noticed it up at that level. I'm like, my gosh, it's never, ever, ever here. And within 7 months, it was 37 to 1. And I was telling everyone, sell your gold, buy silver at 85 to 90 to 1. And then it reverted to its mean. Its average ratio, gold to silver, which, for 150 years, that average ratio, price ratio, has been about 42 to 1. And now it's coming out of the ground at 7 to 1.
Right.
That ratio had a lot to do with logistics and storage and the Industrial Revolution and all of the things that have gone into gold being more of a monetary metal than silver. All of a sudden, silver has woken up and is standing side by side with gold for its monetary purposes. So all of these ratios, I think, will really even accentuate themselves more when things start to correct. And I can simply tell you that everything from its ratio, from its geologic footprint, from the strength of the dollar probably turning over, that the fundamentals could not be better for silver. And sometimes in life, you just got to have strong fingertips, and you got to be able to hang on and trust your conviction and trust your gut. And remember that this is not about becoming wealthy. And you may, it has better, I think, fundamentals than just about any investment on the planet. And that includes something like Bitcoin, which you could argue has great fundamentals. For some people's mind, it does. Some people's it doesn't. But the point is that it's a speculative investment, that being something like Bitcoin. It's not a store of value like we've been told. Silver is a store of value, but it also has, I believe, speculative investment potential. But I don't view it that way. I view it as the most undervalued asset on the planet that will have its day. Absolutely. And why not 2023? Fundamentals are pointing towards that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, talking about the gold to silver ratio, it was 125 to 1 in March of 2020. Yeah. Like when that was happening, silver was like $11 or something, and we knew it was going to correct back down. Like, it's not, we're talking about the highest, or I guess the cheapest silver's ever been to gold. So we knew it would. And for people, it's crazy that when silver's $11, everyone's scared to buy it, but when it's 30, everyone's buying it. Like the ratio, which is actually interestingly enough, it started in March of 2020. When you apply 3 years later, which would be now, silver's breakout year potentially, just like in 2008, which led silver to $50. In 2011, silver hit $50, which took about 3 years. There's a lot of similarities. But yeah, I don't think that people really understand the potential silver has. Like I made a video, I think yesterday, it was talking about all the different reasons why silver's so explosive. It was just listing one after another. It's like all the stars are aligning. It's pretty interesting. I don't think anything has as much potential, and it's extremely undervalued compared to its value.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Maybe I look at things the wrong way, but when I think of silver, I think it's conservative. I think it's a conservative play that offers tremendous upside potential. There's an anomaly there. Normally, you don't associate something that's conservative that you look at as a tool of preservation, as a tool of income generation, or as a tool of profit. And I'll tell you that in all the years I've been involved in investing, 33 years owning Miles Franklin, I've never seen a backdrop on, and I could probably, without even having seen that video, tell you what you said across the board, and those reasons all stacked up together. The only thing that makes me puzzled about it is how the hell people aren't seeing this across the globe.
Right.
Why you and I and the people listening to this show represent but the pimple on the back of the elephant's rear end in terms of percent ownership in allocation across the globe. And what you said is, look, no one wants to buy it when it's cheap, only when it goes up. When you speak about human emotion, this is why there's a whole school of investment ideology and wave theory. Kondratiev wave, Elliott wave, it speaks to human emotions. That's why so few people ever succeed in investing, because no one wants to break free from the herd. You want to follow the herd where the emotion is, where you have to see with your own eyes validation of a trend, instead of trusting your gut and your intuition that the valuation is so absurd that it doesn't matter that the herd thinks you're unconventional and doing things that seem strange. Your gut knows that, hey, it's important to buy low and sell high, like we were told when we're young. And when you talk to guys like Rick Rule, who has made a very huge impact instrumentally on my life and on my career, he'll tell you that the most success he's ever had for himself and for his clients has been when he was purchasing when there was blood in the streets, so to speak, purchasing when no one would have ever made that purchase. He talks about one deal that he knew was so fantastic and it collapsed in price, and instead of giving up and capitulating, he doubled down. Now, most people wouldn't do that, but it turned out to make him incredibly wealthy, amongst other trades he's ever done. The point of it is that when the fundamentals are so amazing the way that they are in silver, when all of the fundamentals that you cover, and in the video you did yesterday where you talk about all of them one after the other, and yet the price doesn't quite make sense, but yet you see the inventories being bled down from the LME, the London Metals Exchange, and the COMEX, and you see such a shortage of supply globally, it betrays the price. And when you see silver actually finish the year up and hang in there at such a strong dollar threshold, where the last time the dollar was this strong, it was under $5 an ounce, it means something.